All right, here we go. What's up, everybody? Um, gonna do another video. I want to thank everyone who gave me some views and some comments and likes and all that. That's pretty cool. Not a ton, got a few, but more than I even expected. Got a couple subscribers too, which is cool. It's pretty neat. It's a first for me. Like I said before, a little awkward, but pretty cool. So thank you. Um, yeah, I just want to jump in. God, there's so much I want to talk about, but I just want to kind of jump right into the past few days have been crazy since Charlie's assassination, since they found the guy, and we found some information out about him. I'm gonna first play a little video of what the governor of Utah said about Tyler Robinson. So let's make sure that's all working. All right, here we go.
The why behind this, from that have been reported, we can have been cooperating. The suspect.
Here we go. Let's adjust the volume. I think it's all the way up.
Has not been
Hope it's loud enough.
cooperating so far. There are a couple things that we can confirm that have been reported. We can confirm that again, according to family and people that we're interviewing, he does come from a conservative family, but his ideology was very different than his family, and so that's part of it. We do know that the roommate that we had originally talked about, we can confirm that roommate is a boyfriend who is transitioning.
Damn it.
From male to female, so we know
did we
that
hear that?
piece. I will say that
Let's hear that part again.
A boyfriend who is the roommate that we had originally talked about. We can confirm that roommate is a boyfriend who is transitioning from male to female. So we know that piece. I will say that person has been very cooperative with authorities, and we have additional.
A boyfriend. So all of the right-wing media, not right-wing, excuse me, the left-wing narrative and media that he's somehow a right-wing guy and he's been radicalized by Trump or a groyper, all that crap, but he's got a boyfriend who's trans. Something doesn't quite add up with that, if you ask me. I would assume he's pretty left-leaning. That's a pretty big tell. Let's finish this.
Evidence, forensic evidence that has been processed. We'll be sharing that when charges are filed on Tuesday. So everything that we know confirms that this is the person. The why behind this, again, we're all drawing lots of conclusions and how someone like this could be radicalized. And I think that those are important questions for us to ask and important questions for us to answer. What we have learned specifically is that this person did not have any knowledge, was shocked when they found out about it. When he found out about it, the suspect has not been cooperating so far, and so we're getting all of this information from family members, again people around the suspect, and then the forensic information that we have, which is confirming everything and more than what we were able to share in that.
So what was the last? What did you just say again?
When he found out about it,
radicalizing. What's been radicalizing him? You know, there's gonna be a lot of talk about that for a while, but I mean, to me, it's obvious. It's obvious. The majority of media is left-wing media. Majority of Hollywood is left-leaning, left-wing Hollywood. Majority of professors and teachers are left-leaning. Majority of the medical industry is left-leaning. It is extremely obvious, and all of these people are, not all of these people, but a lot of the left are pretty delusional. You know, they live in a subjective reality. They are there is no common ground to be had with them because they don't see what we see. It's like that movie, whatever that movie was, 80s movie or something, where they're walking around and it's a black and white movie, I think, and then they put glasses on and everyone's monsters and stuff like that. You know, we put the glasses on, we see the monsters everywhere, and they walk around with these rose tinted glasses, or however you want to describe it. They walk around seeing something completely different than us. But to me, it's completely obvious why he was radicalized. You have all of these left-leaning influences who have been calling the right fascist, racist, bigots. I mean, like calling Charlie that too, calling him racist, bigoted, harming trans people, putting lives in danger, and you say this enough, and then you convince people that the country is going to be taken over by fascists, or the country is going to go somewhere terrible if these people aren't stopped. And you say that enough, eventually somebody is going to get freaked out to the point where they're like, I got to stop this guy. I got to do something. If no one else is going to do it, I'm going to do it. I mean, I bet you that's what this guy's mindset was, and if he's got a trans boyfriend who's trying to convince him that Charlie's rhetoric and debates and stuff are harming these trans people, these transformers, that it's harming, and that's Elijah Schaefer. I got that from him, Transformers, so I can't claim that one. But I have no doubt that the boyfriend was, in this dude's ear and made him feel as though he has to stand up and do something. It's pretty wild. But yeah, so the next thing I want to do is, so we have some information on the assassin, and I'm going to jump into some Reddit stuff just to kind of read what their perspective is on the situation. I always find it really interesting kind of going through and reading their takes, because it always blows my mind how off the mark they are from everything. And yeah, so I kind of want to jump in, and I wanted to say though that the reaction to the Tyler Robinson guy has been pretty wild too. Here we're gonna just go ahead and jump right into it. Here it is. Just read some headlines of some of the threads first to give you kind of an idea. So if you type Tyler Robinson into Reddit, the top thing, which they have a new AI thing, which I gotta find. Oh, here it is. I don't even know how I did this. I typed his name in, and I didn't know this AI thing was a thing. And they did it with Charlie Kirk as well, and that was really interesting to see how they frame somebody. I didn't frame someone as right, left, or whatever their views are. And Reddit is completely controlled by the crazy liberals, but they'll present something as objective truth, objective reality, as, they'll state something as, this is the facts, this is who it is, and it couldn't be further from the truth, or it could be so twisted that it's like some things may be true, some things maybe not. So anyways, you type Tyler Robinson in, and an AI thing popped up to describe who he is. Confirmed right-wing associations, and they're trying to frame it as he's a right-wing guy. And of course they are, because they refuse to, or they don't want to. They want to be able to put this on the right as much as possible, and it's not, no matter how hard they try. So, confirmed right-wing associations, raised in a Republican household. Several Redditors have confirmed that Robinson was raised in a Republican household. Tyler Robinson was raised in a Republican household, and it's bad news for MAGA. Yeah, I saw that as one of the threads. What if him being raised in a Republican household doesn't mean anything? That doesn't mean he's right-wing, doesn't mean he's anything. MAGA and Trump support. This is the most ridiculous one. There are mentions of him wearing a Trump t-shirt and dressing like Trump for Halloween. And I will show you guys a picture of the costume here. The costume he's wearing is not like it's a small picture. Yeah. It's not like it's supporting Trump. It's not like a positive type of costume. It's him riding Trump like a horse, basically. Piggyback ride, almost, whatever you want to call it. That is not... Oh, damn, I covered it up. Move that. Transition. Boom. There we go. So, you're supposed to tell me... You're telling me that's supposed to mean he is a Trump supporter? I don't get... The logic behind it doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. But, yeah, that's a weird one. So anyways, back to this thing. Yeah, so they claim that's him supporting MAGA, which I don't know about that one. And then the Groyper Association. I don't really know what the Groyper thing is. Like, I don't use any social media really at all. I use YouTube, and I like to shitpost on Reddit, and that's kind of it, to be honest. But I did find out a little bit about this Groyper thing. So the Groyper stuff is a Nick Fuentes thing. Some Redditors believe he may be involved with the Groyper subculture, which is a far-right group. It's not confirmed, but all the available evidence points toward Groyper associations. I don't know what evidence there is of pointing to that. I think it was a picture of him wearing a tracksuit and squatting down. That, and like his picture before. I mean, if it's anything like the picture before, where they say he's a Trump MAGA supporter because of the costume, I would imagine the other picture is a similar thing, where it has nothing to do with him supporting Groyper stuff, but rather, who knows, making fun of it or something like that. So, yeah. Potential left-wing views. Another thing is, you can see just how biased all the framing is in these bulletins. It's just so disingenuous. It's really frustrating. And this has been the problem for years. That's, we're so fed up with it. We're so tired of seeing it, seeing all the twisted context and media and all that stuff. So, potential left-wing views, anti-fascist statements. There are conflicting reports about Robinson's views. Some sources initially suggested he was left-leaning, but these have been retracted. The Guardian retracted. So, anti-fascist statements. So, really, for the left, that's like a positive, if anything. And I feel like all of these are framed and labeled in a way to look positive in the left wing's eyes. Like, positive in that it frames it in a positive view of how they want it framed. Kind of like the Charlie Kirk AI thing on Reddit. The criticisms are all negative in a certain way. It's all leaning in a certain direction. So the last one, conflicting information, mixed signals. There are conflicting reports about his political affiliations, with some suggesting he was right-wing and others indicating left-wing leanings. I haven't seen much in regards to the shooter. I heard, this is just someone's post. Anyways, conclusion, based on available information, Tyler Robinson seems to have had a complex, potentially shifting political landscape, while there is strong evidence of his right-wing upbringing and possible involvement with far-right groups. There are also conflicting reports about his leanings. For more details, discussions, and updates, consider visiting these subreddits. Join these subreddits. They're good for your mind. They're not. They're terrible. r/ask-a-liberal, r/ask-reddit, and r/politics. So, and that I typed, is Tyler Robinson left or right? That's how that came up. So this is typing Tyler Robinson in the Reddit header, whatever you call it, search bar. Sorry, I drink that kind of like an animal. Thirsty. Got destroyed in my baseball game today. Oh my goodness. It was a rough game. We lost badly. Excuse me. Okay. So you type Tyler Robinson in the search bar, and then I went here and pulled up the top all-time posts because I want to get straight to the meaty, 100K votes, 12,000 comments, all that stuff. Because, like I said, I don't use social media, so this is an easy way to kind of get a little taste of what's going on in the world. But this is a really good way to see how the left are responding in a place they feel comfortable. Let's go ahead and click. Did I already click that one? No. Charlie Kirk's killer. This was 3 days ago. Charlie Kirk's killer, Tyler Robinson, raised in a Republican household, and it's bad news for MAGA media machine. So this was them jumping on the narrative right away because they had all sorts of crazy conspiracies in Reddit and everywhere else that we were working together really fast to frame him as a left-wing activist. But really, he was a MAGA guy, and they were just going on about how he's actually MAGA, and he was radicalized by Trump, and all sorts of just really weird stuff. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. Why would a Trump supporter, right-wing person, kill Charlie? Seriously, why? There's no strategically. It would be dumb. When you look at the long-term potential for Charlie Kirk on the right, we saw him as a culture warrior general. He was building a mass following. He could have easily been president 10, 20 years from now if he wanted. Maybe not easily, but it was likely. He had a huge movement behind him. He had the ear of the older generations, and then he had the ear of the younger generations. And I think very rarely do we see a politician or somebody, an influencer or whatever else have both ears of the young and the old. And he had both. So it was clear that he would one day be able to, if he wanted. I don't think he wanted to, but he was a threat. So it doesn't make any sense to say that he was a MAGA person. It's crazy. And then they claim, let's just read some of the comments. Let's just go down. Top one, they are at war with us. They're at war with us. I'll be honest, it feels the other way around. I feel like we just wanted to live our lives and mostly be left alone. Mostly not be told mostly not let men in women's bathrooms, men play on women's sports, not be told we have to call somebody a certain gender, not pretend that somebody's a boy when they're a girl or a girl when they're a boy. We wanted to be left alone, and they're the ones that force themselves into everything. The intolerant, tolerant left. So they're at war with us, and they are currently in your house. Oh, that's just stupid. They're being funny. They will just blame the famously liberal Utah college campuses that vote 70% Republican as brainwashing them. Everybody knows Mormons secretly run Antifa indoctrination camps, LOL. Just because he's in Utah, a Republican state, and I guess is the school right wing, it could be. I don't understand how that is evidence of him being right wing. It just, all the evidence points the other way. You know? You mean the ones Governor Spencer Cox approved open carry for last year? These college campuses in Utah? Blah, blah, blah. They're just talking about that stuff. Let's see. Never get jumping close stretching the truth. Yeah, that's actually that's a whole nother can of worms. The Epstein stuff is a whole nother problem. That I might run with some conspiracies with them on, to be honest. That one needs to be figured out. But we'll save that for another video. So these guys are just kind of saying dumb stuff about the colleges and trying to pretend like he's right wing because he was in a red area. He went to college one semester, the 11th most conservative college in the United States. Virtually every professor is right-wing, religious, white male. This is not going how they had planned. Finally, a school shooting they want to react to, and they can't. They just realize school shooters are almost completely their demographic. I would highly argue against that. Aren't most of the school shooters some weird? Haven't the past few been had like trans God, what do you call the thing? Write out a thing. Oh God, I'm having a huge brain fart right now. Anyways, weren't most of them extremely left wing on medications and all sorts of stuff? You know, the whole school shooting thing is a whole other can of worms too. Like that is a mental health issue. I've never heard of a school shooter being some like a person like me, like some right wing conservative guy. You know, it's always some mentally broken person who's been on psych meds since they were 10, who something's off with them, and they're also have a lot of liberal Democrat leanings. You know, they always try and jump ahead of stuff and frame them as like they're right wing. That's like the first thing they do, and they'll say that we're doing the same thing. But the difference is we're pointing out the truth. We're pointing out the facts, the obvious ones. You know, they just realize school shooters are, pardon my French, but I really don't think they've realized shit. They're just having a harder time twisting this one to fit their narrative, but the narrative itself hasn't changed, unfortunately. So this was 2 days ago. I don't know. From what the governor said, he's pretty much pretty much confirmed a lefty. So I don't know. All right, let's jump to another Reddit thread. The right-wing hysteria continues. They are now claiming Tyler Robinson had a trans woman romantic partner. And this was 13 hours ago. Though raised in a conservative Mormon household, Robinson seemingly had become infatuated with left-wing ideology in recent years. So far, this seems entirely baseless, but the cope is crazy. At worst, though, they are dozing and possibly dead-naming a complete innocent. What? Dead-naming the boyfriend? And innocent? I don't know. It's possible that person influenced him. Dead-naming is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. It's so disturbing to see how hard they're trying to sick their rabid followers on marginalized people. It really seems the right is trying to incite stochastic terrorism. It's just so scary. We're not trying to incite any type of violence, terrorism, anything. We're not sicking our rabid followers on marginalized people. You know, like I said, you guys forced yourselves into the conversation with everybody. You guys have forced what you've wanted into the world when we mostly don't care. But you force yourselves in all the wrong ways. You force yourselves by getting men on women's sports and the bathroom stuff and the pronouns. Like, cry me a river. I'm so tired of this crap. Here's another one. The mental gymnastics they're doing right now. This is such irresponsible and dangerous reporting. Why the hell are people so scared of trans people? I thought the Republicans liked government out of their lives, but now they're all into everyone's private parts. It's weird. I mean, we're definitely not scared of trans people. Hate to break it to you. Yeah, and we do like government out of our lives as much as possible. But yeah, we kind of have to get the government involved when you guys are doing stuff like transitioning kids, transing the kids, you know, transitioning people and letting them play on women's sports, you know, the bathroom stuff. Like, you're doing all sorts of stuff where we kind of get forced to get the government involved. We have to start making rules, laws, regulations to stop some of that stuff because it's inappropriate and it's wrong and weird. That's what's weird. Another comment. Gender is a segregation that, like all segregation, is enforced with violence. The existence of trans people threatens fascism. Only fascists are scared of other people just being alive near them. The only ones who act like fascists are the left. Over the years, they have shown fascist. I don't even know. I don't know the word. I'm not smart enough, but tendencies. That's the word. The left has shown fascist tendencies, especially when they controlled everything. When they controlled Twitter, all of the media, you know, all the schools. They're the ones who I think are more fascist than the right. And I don't think they even know what fascist means, to be honest. They throw this word around a lot. I don't think you know what this word means. All right, let's get back more to what these guys are just talking about, trans stuff now. All right, that was r/FOMOI, whatever that means. We already read this one, didn't we? Yeah. Yep. Okay. r/Black people Twitter. Which side are we blaming again? And we got a picture here. I guess it's a post on someone's Twitter or whatever. So Tyler Robinson was not black, not trans, not Muslim, not Hispanic. Basically, he was a kid who wore a Donald Trump costume for Halloween. Did I get that right? So this is 3 days ago. Yeah, this is the picture, the costume thing. It's dumb. How can you even say this makes him MAGA, makes him a Trump supporter? It's such a stretch. It's such a reach. They're really reaching. They're trying really hard. Some copium. They're trying really hard to frame him as a MAGA, which is the craziest tactic in all this. Like, I don't know. See some comments. It doesn't matter, LOL. All they got to do is find out he listened to Drake or something, and all of a sudden it's going to be black people's fault again. No, that's not true. I don't know why people feel this way. Like, really, I don't know. I don't understand why they feel that's how we are. I really want to try and understand, you know, like I said, all these people live in this crazy reality, and I don't get how they get there. I really don't get it. Yeah, the Epstein stuff. Yeah, I mean, I gotta agree with that. The Epstein stuff needs to be figured the fuck out. That's a mess. they don't have the balls to openly blame Jewish people. Pretty sure the right were pretty divided on all that. Pretty sure they're really divided on that. So, wow. Please be a Republican. Please be a Republican. Please be a Republican. The only icing on the cake would be that, and then they will. Okay, the only icing on the cake would be that, and then they will stop talking about it or mention it on any news channel. He's not a Republican. Why would a Republican even do it? That doesn't. I mean, he's not. And we're not going to stop talking about it. Even if he was a Republican, we would still talk about it heavily because we would want to figure out why he did it. We would want to figure out how we can stop this type of violence from going on. You know, it's pretty sad. Apparently registered Republican family, big Trumpers, big gun nuts, multiple pictures of parents giving the kids guns for Christmas when they look about 13 years old. Again, doesn't make him a Republican. So, anyways, that was r/black Twitter. They are really wanting him to be Republican. That's kind of the gist of it. Let's see. What is the temperature? It's super hot in here. It's good outside. This is r/blue sky skeets. Not a liberal, trans, gay, or immigrant. Homegrown. That's what they say. What we know about Charlie Kirk, alleged shooter Tyler Robinson. White, straight, male, Christian, Republican, conservative background, Second Amendment supporter, experienced firearms user, a good son. You know what? I've got to cool off. Let me pause the video.